Hey there, y'all. JC the Sniper, and I'm coming to you with another knife review. And what knife do we have today but the Spyderco Military? Bam. Look at that. Beautiful knife. Just an excellent looking knife and an excellent knife all around. Got that really cool opaque-ish G10 scales there. Nice blackened clip. Got the shiny blade on this one. Just an excellent knife all around. And we're going to review it today. So, let's go ahead and get started. What are you going to do with this knife? This knife, for me, this thing has according to the website, Spyderco's website on their specs, it has a 4-inch blade, 102 millimeters. So, you know, it's a full-size 4-inch blade. This is definitely not a small knife. It is a large knife. Overall length, 9.5 inches. I mean, that's freaking huge for a pocket knife. It's a large knife. So, you're not going to have, I don't know, that puts, for me, although I do EDC this knife, it puts it outside the role of an EDC knife. You know, something like the OD1, this is a better EDC knife. You got a little 2.5 inch, 3 inch blade. You know, it's small, something nice you can make little cuts with. This thing is likely to inspire fear and trembling when you pull it out and have a blade that size and present it to, you know, cut a thread or something like that. It's going to make the kids at your college cry and run away, especially if they're in the Army. So, you got to watch out for that. But it's an excellent blade. So for me, that would put this in the realm of tactical folding knives, which is appropriate since it is the Spyderco Military. And according to the website, this knife was created when someone asked Sal, you know, I guess he's president, owner, something like that, designs knives at Spyderco, what knife he would want his son to carry or his son in the military getting deployed overseas. And this is the answer. At least that's the story. Don't know if it's true, but that's what they're telling us. So it's appropriate that this knife would be a, you know, a tactical folding knife. And I think it performs in that role well, and we'll see why here in a minute. So, let's just roll on into the talking points. Size, we've already covered that. It's a 4-inch blade, 9.5 inches overall, which must mean, if you can do your math, that we've got a 5.5 inch handle, which means that it is actually quite a lot more than a 1-to-1 ratio of handle to blade. You know, so there's a lot more handle than there is blade, 1.5 inches more handle. And some people don't like that. However, you know, it might look a little funny. As you can see there, that blade does look a little small for the handle. However, it gives us a lot of handle. We can get a really good purchase on it, and it is an excellent handle. I really like this handle. So I'm glad they decided to do that, because if they'd shortened it up, this wouldn't be nearly the knife it is. So I think they did an excellent job on that as far as size. Weight, this knife is, let's look at the website once again, 4.25 ounces. So that's a very good weight for a knife of this size. A very good weight. You know, it's not very frequently that you're going to find a knife this large that has, you know, that light of a weight. It's just not very common. Generally, a knife with a blade this big and a handle this big, 9.5 inches overall, it's going to be more than 4.25 ounces. So 4.25 I think is excellent. I've been EDCing this knife for the last couple months, and it's done really well. I mean, it's big, and in that respect, it is a little bit much in your pocket, but weight-wise, it doesn't bother you. It doesn't drag on you like perhaps my Cold Steel Spartan does at like 9.5 ounces. That thing's freaking massive. Drag your pants down massive. This one doesn't do that, so that's nice. You know, it's a good weight. I like the weight. Not too much, you know, it's heavier than knives like the Endura, but not enough that it's, you know, ridiculous. So, very, very, very decent weight. Steel. Excellent steel in this blade. It is the CPM S30V. And you can see it stamped there on the blade with the Spyderco. And then right under that, CPM S30V. So, very good steel. And that's probably where most of the cost in this knife comes from. Is the steel. I mean, it's a high quality knife, so it has high quality craft. And it is very, very sharp. Straight out of the box, we'll go ahead here and make some cuts as long as I don't botch this in the camera frame. Whoops. That's my fault, folks. Very sharp. I mean, you know, you can see I'm just shaving little pieces off of it. Little bitty pieces. And they're not raggedy or anything. It's just shaving them. Very, very sharp knife. You know, so that's just quite excellent. I appreciate knives that come sharp, as you guys know. I think they should all come that sharp out of the box. And the Spyderco definitely delivers. But Spyderco does that with all their knives, so that's something you can expect. But like I said, I've been carrying this for a couple months, and I've been cutting crap with it, and I haven't sharpened it. So that's not even the factory edge. It was sharper when I got it. It's lost a little bit of its edge, but it's still holding in there. Very, very sharp. And oh, excellent. I like the steel. It's supposed to be fairly rust resistant. I've not had any problems with it tarnishing. Hasn't gotten any spots on it or anything. I have not coated this one. I know I said I usually coat my knives in rim oil, particularly when I'm going to be storing them. This one's not had anything on it. Usually when I'm you know, just checking a knife out or a steel or something, I won't, just to see what happens. So this one hadn't had anything, and it's been doing good. So I think this is an excellent steel. It's a harder steel, so it might be a little bit more difficult to sharpen, but I don't have too much experience with it. From all reports, it's an excellent steel. If I find something different, I will definitely let you guys know. I'll probably make an update video if something like that happens. So I guess we'll see. Blade shape, they call this a modified clip point. I like this blade shape a lot. It gives us a nice, you know, as you can see there, a lot of belly. If we look at, for instance, a Spyderco Endura, you know, it's got a decent amount of belly, but you've got a kind of flat-ish edge, and then it curls up into the point, whereas this blade comes almost from the bottom straight up into that belly. So this would be excellent for making those slashing attacks, cutting attacks, and a very, very sharp point. So, you know, if you needed to make a thrust, this will make a thrust. And it, as you can see, getting into ergonomics, getting ahead of myself, lines up very nicely. The tip is pretty much centered on the center of the knife here. So, excellent for making some stabbing attacks, and a very good belly for some slashing attacks. Full flat grind, which is excellent. You guys know from watching my other videos, I love full flat grind, which is why I was so excited when these started coming in full flat grind. And let's see, the Spyderco Resilience in full flat grind, excellent blade. You guys know I was excited about that one. What else do we have? Oh, the Cara 2. When these started coming in full flat grind, I was excited about that as well. I just like my full flat grind. It's excellent. I think it's good for slicing. You know, if you want to cut something, maybe some cheese or some trash like that, good for that. But also good for cutting people and cutting animals and cutting anything else living that you might need to take the life out of or clean or something like that. So, excellent. While we got these out here, by means of size comparison, let's just throw these up here together. Here we got the Endura next to it. As you can see, the Military is significantly larger than the Endura. Quite a bit larger. Blade is about half an inch longer, maybe a little less than half an inch longer, but the handle is a lot larger, and thus we get a lot of reach with it. You know, you hold all the way back on the Endura, you get, you know, significantly less than when you're holding all the way back on this thing. So excellent, you know, whatever. Spyderco Resilience 4 1/4 inch blade, slightly larger blade, but the handle on the Resilience is actually smaller than the handle on the Military. And like I said, I like that Military handle. Handle on the Resilience is still good. However, the handle on this Military is just the bomb. So, you know, there you go, size comparison. Good size blade. And we got steel blade shape. It's a good blade shape. Like I said, modified clip point. Got that oversized spider hole, help you get it out quick, and just excellent for stabbing or cutting, whatever you need to do. Speed, very good speed. Comes out of that handle very quickly. Very quickly. As you can see there, with just a little flick of the wrist and a pop, you can get it out without flicking your wrist, and it comes out very quickly even without flicking the wrist. But just give it a little flick, that thing comes out lightning fast. Faster than the Endura. This one just, you know, you probably can't tell on camera, but this thing comes out faster. Very, very quick, and that's impressive for such a large blade. Check that one up. So, you know, very good, very good. Pretty much on par with my Resilience, so that's excellent. Actually, probably a little quicker than the Resilience. I don't know. And you can deploy it, as always, if you want to. You can just come right around and not whip it open. And you can always do the snap open thing, which, you know, I can do off camera. I can't really do it in the viewfinder, but trust me, I can pop it open. So, you know, you got those options. Has a pretty good detent on it with that liner lock. So that helps it get out quick because you can build pressure and then snap it. So that's pretty nice. Lockup is good. You know, as with all liner locks, it's not as good as some other thing. And you guys know I prefer backlocks. It's just what I prefer. I think these are a lot stronger than a liner lock. I know they're a lot stronger than a liner lock. However, a properly executed liner lock will get the job done. Would I like to see it in a backlock? Maybe. You know, it would affect the design of the knife. It would make it heavier, some things like that. I don't know. I like this knife the way it is. Would I like to see a knife this style with a backlock? Yes. But I'd like to keep this one around. The liner lock, actually, one thing I wanted to mention, blade steel, look at the thickness of that blade stock. Even thicker than the Resilience, which is a very thick blade stock. Thicker than the Endura. So, very good thickness to that blade. That, you know, it's a significant blade, pretty decent heftiness to it. You can see here, the liner is not incredibly thick. However, I believe it is a titanium liner lock, so that's pretty fancy. It's strong. I mean, I don't have any problem with it. The lockup is excellent. I mean, it is. This thing is rock solid. I know that I say that about knives. However, you know, this one's solid, very solid. But you can occasionally, like, you can feel a little bit of side to side wiggle on some of these. You know, even you know, you get a nice Endura, it locks up real tight, but there's, you know, maybe a little bit of give, not necessarily wiggle, but you can flex it a little bit. You cannot flex this freaking knife. And part of the reason I think that is because, well, first of all, you got a stopping pin there, which the blade is wedged up against. And then second of all, look how much of the blade is down in this handle. There's a significant distance of blade in there, so you got a lot of handle to stabilize the blade. Also, look at that pin there. Look how big that thing is. I mean, it's huge. Bigger than the Resilience pin, bigger than the pin in the Endura. So there's just a large blade pivot there, so there's a lot to hold this knife down. And I think that's excellent as well. Very nice. So the lockup is really good. There's no movement whatsoever. This thing locks up like a bank vault. Really, really good. It amazed me, actually. I mean, I was very, very impressed by that, because I was thinking, it's a liner lock, it's probably not going to be as good. It's every bit as good a lockup as any of their lockbacks. Not going to be as strong. You know, if you really put some force on that, it's probably going to give out quicker than a lockback, but it's good. Which brings us to strength. Very strong knife. The handles are G10. As you can see in there, there is no liner on the non-locking side. Straight up G10 in there. You know, so solid G10 with you know, some sort of polymer spacer in the back. And then on this side we got that titanium liner. Strong blade, very thick blade as we mentioned. But this G10 is strong. There's no, I mean, there may be a little flex there, but really there's not much at all to speak of. So very, very strong in that respect. Lockup's good. It's a strong knife overall. You know, you got the blade backed up against that stop pin, so it's a strong knife. That's about all you can say about it. Handle material, as just mentioned, is a G10. And look at that coloration. I think that's sweet. Like I said, it's a little bit more of an ACU than it is a Marpat. I'd prefer to see it in a Marpat. But of course, that's to be expected when you're in the Marine Corps. If I would rather see an ACU pattern, I would have joined the Army. So, you know, it's pretty sweet still. I like it. Digi-camo. It's always cool. And these are not printed the same. So as they say, no two knives are going to be the same. Even the two sides of the knife are different. So that's kind of cool that, you know, you're not going to have other knives looking the same. Ergonomically speaking, very excellent. You got this swell back here to place your hand in. You got a swell up here. So when you hold here and lock in, you lock in tight. And this G10 is finely textured, as you can see here. Very finely textured G10, but it gets a lot of traction. Excellently done. A lot more than the G10 on the Resilience. I don't know what the difference is, because they're very similar. And like, if you look at them, you know, the texturing is pretty close to the same. However, the texturing on here, I don't know if it's the quality of G10 or what, but it is grippy. Even nicer than this. So excellent job on the texturing. However, it won't rip your pants. So that's really nice. I like the texturing on here a lot. And of course, with the handle shape and the extra real estate you get with the handle, because it is so large, you freaking lock in on this thing. That's not going anywhere. I mean, you get in on that, you've got it. And you can stab, you can slash, whatever you're doing, it's not going anywhere. And you can hold even back further if you want. You know, lock in down here. Get yourself a little bit extra reach. I mean, look how much reach you got there. Freaking crap load of reach. Go in there and slash the crap out of somebody. And when you're holding here, one thing I like is the blade, as you can see, the blade faces downward a little bit. You know, if you hold the handle level, blade's going to be facing down. So that puts the blade a little bit more in line with your hand naturally. And when you hold it here, the blade pretty much lines up with your thumb, which is pretty cool, because when you go into stab, you get the blade straight forward at this angle, which is nice. And when you go to slash, you know, the blade is going to just flow a little bit nicer. So that's cool. Then once again, you got really nice jimping up here. Excellently done jimping and a very aggressive thumb ramp, just like Spyderco does on a lot of their knives. You can really lock in if you want to lock in forward on the knife. And as an added feature, you got an extra choil and jimping on the bottom, on the front of the blade. So excellent there if you want to choke up and do some fine cutting work, maybe a little whittling or something like that. That would be excellent. So that's very good. And along with the ergonomics, when we close the knife, look how the thumb ramp seamlessly integrates here with the handle. Just whoops down right in there. Very nice. And what this is cool is if we want to use this as a non-lethal impact device, that allows me a jimped place to put my finger, hook it over that ramp, get my thumb on top of this nice flat space provided, and I can, beat the crap out of somebody with that thing. And you got a nice, pretty pointy end there. So excellent non-lethal impact device, I think. If we want to hold this in a reverse grip, you get a pretty good grip on it in reverse as well. Same thing with the finger grooves. And it just feels very nice in hand. Very, very nice. Lays right in your palm. It's excellent. You got to hold one of these to appreciate it. I love the Military. The clip is excellent. It's got a good strong clip, blackened, which I like. And you got 3 triangulated attachment points, whatever you want to call that. So it's on there firm. And the nice thing about that is because they're triangle like that, they're not going to wiggle. Sometimes when these get loose, they can twist a little bit because they're so close to each other. This one's not going to move because those are set wide out from each other, so I like that. It's a good clip. Nothing you can really say about it. Pretty much well designed. No complaints. The only thing I would say is it would be nice if we had more options for mounting the clip. You've only got right hand tip down. Or you can get a left-handed one and then you have left hand tip down, but there's no option for tip up, whatever. So you're going to be carrying it like this, which is alright because I either pull it out and rotate as I go and snap it out, or grab it by the thumb hole as I pull it out and then do the freaking spider drop and come into a little razor fighter mode. But either way, you can deploy it quickly. You just need to practice with it, and you may not be able to get it the same as all your other knives because you're stuck with tip down carry. Whatever. It is what it is. I like the knife even though I only get tip down carry, but that is a knock against the blade. So yeah, that's about all to say about the clip. It is fully takedownable, whatever you want to call that. You can disassemble it fully. You got your screws there and the handle scales, screws here, screw for the pivot, and you can take it down if you need to. But I don't know why you would need to, because you pretty much clean that whole thing out. I mean, there's nothing in here to get gunked up except maybe in here. But flow through design, just easy. Got that nice lanyard hole, pretty decent sized lanyard hole. That's nice. It's excellent all around. Durability is going to be really good on this blade, I would say. High quality materials, high quality workmanship. It's Spyderco. It's going to last forever. Value on this blade. MSRP is $219, which is a lot of money, but if you're going to compare it, think about the price of a Benchmade, for instance. $200 for a Benchmade, you're not going to get this much blade. You're not going to get the equivalent of a Spyderco Military. Excellent high quality steel, high quality handle materials, excellent ergonomics, good design. I think it's a value, and I only paid $130 for this. So in the range of $130, this is an excellent value. For $130, very, very good. Very hard to beat this. The only thing that I would say comes close is the Spyderco Police, and that's a Spyderco. So once again, an excellent blade. I think I prefer this one though. So It is what it is. So once again, we've got the Spyderco Military, an excellent value in a tactical blade. Very good for self-defense purposes, tactical purposes, and I think if you purchase one of these, you will be pleased. JC the Sniper, signing off.